Welcome back, everybody. Just Mike here. Anyway, today, again, we have a new cuckoo clock to work on. And it's not new. I think this was approximately 1890 to 1910, like the other one I did. But this one here is different. It's just a cuckoo clock. Now, this one did suffer a bit of damage. Originally, it had some pieces off, and they put it in a baggie, and I guess as they're getting ready to ship it, they dropped the box and busted the clock up a little bit more, and they emailed me that if I was interested, they're gonna knock 40 bucks off on this clock. And I figured, realistically, if I don't get this clock anyway, it's gonna be going to the dump. So anyway, let me show you the clock I'm gonna be working on. So this is the clock, and I think originally maybe it was just the top portion that was broke off. Now we have all these pieces broke off here. I did tell them to send everything they could find, whether they dropped the box, and that was before they mail or was getting ready to mail it or something. I don't know. All I know is all these pieces broke off, and it could have been also because of the weights, which are quite heavy. They don't have a number on them, so I'll weigh each one of these out and let you know how much they weigh, but we'll just call them 8-day clock weights, but I'm sure this is just a 1-day clock. But like I say, glad I have this piece here. And I don't know, I have to figure out some of these pieces, where they go and whatnot. Originally, the only thing that broke off was what is in this bag. And in this bag, it's part of the topper, I do believe, and the one short board here. And so it's nice that I do have the decorative pieces. I have all of them on this clock, but it's going to be a puzzle trying to get some of these back together again. And when it comes to these leaves here, if I don't have that other one, at least I have this leaf to be able to mark and make a new one there. Now these are normally just, I'm going to call them nailed in, but someone glued this one on, but normally they have 2 nails sticking out of these, and they get pressed into place. And maybe because of dusting the clock, they glued it on. It's hard telling what people do. Anyway, this does have the nice wooden cuckoo bird. Don't know the condition of whether he's got wings or not, because I haven't opened this clock yet. I just unpacked it, got all the pieces out, untangled the chains as usual, and so after I get some of this stuff set aside, we'll take a look on the inside. So this is the back side of the clock, and by the looks of it, this here isn't as old as I thought it was, because this here does say July 18th, and I do believe that says 1935. And I think they call this the duty stamp. I don't think that is. It's down below, or it could be down below. I think it says repaired 7/20/1989. I think that says that. So that still could be a duty stamp, though. This is another number on it. It looks like a G to me, but it could be a 9304. So on the back it has these, I'm going to guess might be a nail or something that you would turn so the back can come off. Has a nice gong on there. Now, someone has put in new bellows, but look at how long these, well, let me back this off and I'll show you just how long these whistle boxes are. They're approximately, just the whistle box itself looks like it's about 6 inches. And of course, well, that one's fallen out. So anyway, let me go ahead and take the hands off, release the cuckoo bird, or maybe we can get this thing to run. So that's not bad. There's a chance because looking at the movement, it looks pretty clean. Let me get this other one. And I'll turn the hand. Okay, there, oh, no? I'm not sure what's totally wrong. I do know this here is having a problem coming out. He's not going to cuckoo. And I'm not sure why, so let's go ahead, get the hands off of this thing, get the bird out, and we'll take a look at it and see just what's going on in there. Before I start the camera up, this here is actually turning very easily. I do believe that one's supposed to turn too, because it does have, we'll call them grips down there. No? I guess so. There we go. I couldn't tell you for sure. I almost want to call these bone hands because just the looks of them. And right here it says Germany. We'll release the cuckoo bird. I can't get my thumb behind there to pull that wire up. There we go. Now we can take the screws out of, oh, let's take the bellows out, or the whistle boxes. So I guess that's a nail. This here kind of sounds like it's stripped. I might have to add a little something to it to make the screw hold into the box. didn't want to come off of there. This isn't marked, so I'm going to go ahead on this one is mark it the right side. I'm going to leave this wire on for now. And this was a nail. So let me get the other one off and I'll be back. Now this one's got a newer screw in it, in which it doesn't make any difference as long as they got it back together the best they could, we'll say. I like to try to get a screw that kind of matches the age of the clock. Okay, I got the screws out. They had a variety of screws in there. I had this one, which was fine, it's short enough. And they had this one that's I normally find holding the movement in to a kitchen clock. So let's try to get this out of here carefully. This bird is in really great shape. Needs a little bit of oil in because he doesn't want to move that well, but his wings do flap. And usually, and it looks that way, this is rusty along here. So we'll clean that up. Let me see. Now there's a chance it's running just fine now. There's a chance that this here was in a bind, trying to push out the door. And like I say, this movement is really clean. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and oil this movement. Get the bird so he moves a little bit easier, because it's a struggle to get him to bob and get them wings to move. But I'm not going to set this back in the clock right away. I plan on getting the box back together again. This says Sears Roebuck Company. I don't know if all these wires are in the way or not. So as far as I know, that's only marking on there. Nothing on this side. So let's get to the box. I was looking at this and noticed it's kind of shaved looking, wore off. I was thinking, how'd that happen? Dragging on the ground, but these would be in the way. What it is when whoever was winding this up, they kept pulling the chain to the front of the clock, and it was slowly shaving all this down. So we already know this fits here. And I'll line the nails up to make sure they fit in. And we'll glue that back into place, besides these nails. Now this nail here goes into the side once it's on there. And the rest of this comes into play here. This has got to connect into here, and this piece here connects into here. There we go. So it looks like this whole right side is with the clock. And so now we have to deal with this side. And this piece here, it's already been broke before, so whether it was set on its side or what happened, I don't know. This comes into here. This piece slides in here. And I'm not sure if this leaf, it might go right in here, but I don't see it going to the topper for sure. It could, but this doesn't seem to fit. It's thicker, so this leaf might go to the top. Somewhere around here, maybe clear to the top. I'm gonna have to look at some pictures to see if I can find one that looks like this to get a better idea. Well, actually, that is pretty close, but I don't think it's that one because there's the bottom of that one leaf. Well, look at that. So now that I'm waiting for some things to dry, I'm going to oil my clock. And I'm going to use the car oil, which I've been using lately. This is 0.20 weight, and it's a synthetic. The reason why I've switched is I used to use a good clock oil, and it seems to me that not all the time that clock would keep running. It would slow down, stop, whatever, and you have to re-oil it. And back in the old days, they used to use car oil. Yeah, maybe not this brand, or who knows, it could have been this brand, but that's what I'm going to oil my movement with. Much better. Trying to wax this, and this is already coming off, and that's a good thing, so that way I can get underneath a lot better. .87 kilograms. Almost 2 pounds, 1.91 pounds. So I've waxed the clock. The wood was splitting because it was so dry, and that split is started to come back together again, and we have nice coloring back on the clock again. I did the door, which the door just has carved lines in it, and they're squiggly a little bit. I went ahead and done this. I got a little more to do by the looks of it, because it soaked it in pretty good by the looks of it. And then I'll probably put a dot of super glue just underneath here, because all these want to move a little bit, which I can tack the numbers down a little bit better. They are coming through here. And I did wax, like I've said, this. And it is kind of egg-shaped looking. Not that noticeable, and who's going to look at that when they're looking at the time when it's on there. So on here, this is glued on, and it's fallen off, which is, in my opinion, just fine with me. I'm going to take it off because I'm thinking about making new ones so I don't have these cracks in there, or if anything on my other clock, at least I have a leaf, even though on my other clock the leaf I do believe is standing up a little bit more, but this will give me a better idea. And not sure, but that's black walnut I'm going to be using to make these. But you can see I got lots of glue to trim off of there. And this one's still on, but I'm going to see if I can get that one knocked off too, and either make a pair or get them on a little bit better. This leaf is flexing pretty good, and this isn't coming off. There we go. Right there's the nail, and right here's the nail. You can see the glue is thick, so it wasn't done very well. And normally you don't want to glue these on because it's part of the clock that you want to come loose if you're gonna pack the clock away, pack it for shipping or whatever. And that includes, like I said before, these you don't want to glue on. If they're falling out, either take a paper towel and wrap around there and push it up in the hole, or even aluminum foil, but I think aluminum foil might not work, but anything you have would be great compared to glue. My brother gifted me this black walnut. And I was thinking about using this as kind of prettier. The only problem is it's fluoride rubber. So I'll set this out on the board and trace it out. But this here has to have the nice head because this piece goes right here. So we got her done, and obviously the main thing was getting the case back together. It kind of makes you wonder about this clock, because like I say, the movement was really clean, and I went ahead and re-oiled it. I couldn't get it to Cuckoo at first, and I'm not sure if that had to do with the door binding. It couldn't open enough, or the door was open enough. It's just that it was too much for the movement or what, but it seems to be opening just fine now. But getting back to let's say the story, did this clock get turned into GW because the person either died, or that would be my guess, because I can't believe the collector, if he was a collector, would just dump that clock off like that. And the damages I got from it because of the person working there fell with the clock, you can't help that sometimes, I will admit also. Anyway, it seems to be a beautiful clock. It cuckoos really well. Like I say, everything was kind of rebuilt in there already, it's just that I had to fix the outside of the clock. Anyway, don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like that clock or appreciate my video. And don't forget to subscribe, because it's free. Until next time, God bless.